Welcome back to the Weekly News Rant, Sheriff Mike Scondotto. You are part of history, sir, because it is going to start off as an experiment, but I have spoken about it before, and I am going to start posting, or reposting, I should say, the Weekly News Rant every Friday as kind of a separate upload on YouTube, because the impression I am getting is, one, I'm effectively presenting two shows in one. I think that seems to confuse the YouTube algorithm, and I do think there's a contingent of people that potentially click to hear the interview, immediately shove off after that's done, don't listen to the news rant, and there may very well be an untapped part of the audience that is in the mood to listen to either myself and a guest. This week, of course, being you, chop it up, talk some shit. We've got a lot to get through this week as well. But before we do that, how's everything going with you?
Things are good. Hello, sir. Once again, congratulations to you and the fam.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's always good news. Another future into the Necrosphere pioneer, hopefully.
That's the co-host when I keel over.
That's right. He's got to keep it going. We have to shield.
Actually, not co-host. I should say the host when I keel over.
Well, yes, that's true.
You and he'll do the news rant if something else.
That's true. I'll be doing it from the home. He'll carry the torch. But yes, we have to shield young people from horrible music. So that's also very important. But I am good. It is a scorching mid-ish June day in beautiful Brooklyn, New York, and I am psyched to be here. And once again, always great to hear from the Into the Necrosphere Legion out there that say what's up to me on Instagram. I've decided to make my Instagram public recently, which has been to my benefit. I've been posting a lot of my insane record collection on a daily basis, which people have been also enjoying. So always good to meet the new folks and the old folks and everyone in between.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's dive straight into it with some music. And we are kicking off on metalstorm.net. As always, the finest metal news website in all the land. There is a new single by Mortem. It says here, Norwegian black metal unit Mortem put out a lyric video for Skirant. And I, again, apologize if I fucked up the pronunciation of that title. But it says here, the first single of their forthcoming long player, Morketed. The latter comes out on July the 3rd via Peaceful Records. A lot to be said about this band, but I'll save it. Let's give 2 minutes rather than 2 seconds of this track. Right, let me pause there. Are you familiar with the background to Mortem at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I know they existed a very long time ago, and that some of the members went on to be in Arcturus.
Yeah. So Steiner Janssen, the bassist, is in Arcturus. You also have Marius Volt, who used to be in Arcturus. And then you've got Hellhammer on drums. And you've got Tor Stavanes of 1349 fame on bass. So it is as star-studded as they come in terms of a lineup. And actually, there was a perception at one point that Mortem is the band that eventually went on to become Arcturus. I think the band have themselves corrected that and said it's not quite the case. But, I mean, essentially, they put out a demo in, I believe, 1990. And then in 2018, they started making plans to get back together, put out their first proper debut record. They did so in 2019. That album was called Ravenswart. I really like that, but I got to tell you, just based on the 2 minutes we've heard there, I think this is a big step up from that album.
It's funny. 90 to 2018. That's what J-Dog would call a "we're back" band. That's a very, very long time away.
Yeah.
I never really fucked with this band. Like, they just kind of, I always knew the name, and I just was like, they completely eluded me. And I don't know, after hearing this track, I guess they're going to continue to elude me because I wasn't really into it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised. I would have thought that you quite dig it. I mean, for me, it's, very classic Norwegian black metal sound. I like the keyboards. I think the riffing is very cool. I mean, the players in the band are, clearly of a tier whereby their performances are never going to be anything other than stellar. And then, I mean, the song itself might not be anything that is massively original. Like we've heard this sort of thing come out of Norway many, many times before, but the song itself, I really like. And I as I said, I think it's a step up from what I recall, and it's been a while since I've listened to that record, but it's certainly a step up from what I recall Ravenswart sounding like.
The thing is, unless I'm mishearing something based on this clip, I hear electronic music. Like I hear like very heavy keyboards, and the drums just sound like a drum machine. Like, I don't know. Like, it sounded very not black metal to me. I don't know.
I think that might be StreamYard fucking with you.
Maybe.
StreamYard's sabotaging your enjoyment of the track. I would suggest go back and listen to it, but I think it's going to get the thumbs up for me without a doubt.
I will reassess. But interesting.
All right, but we do have a lot of questions. As soon as I put the call out saying that the sheriff is going to be on, a lot of folks responded in fine style. So the first one, and I'm actually genuinely interested about this as well. We've got AV Overkill 1197 writing, I have one question for Jackson and one for Mike. Question for Jackson, I know your thoughts on Corentin, but supposing Akakaka never recorded it, what would your best record/desert island album be? I'll answer that in a second. But question for Mike, who from the New York hardcore scene do you consider to be your biggest inspiration, or were you most inspired by, and why?
Well, okay, that's a little tough, but I will try to give a good answer.
As you formulate your thoughts, I think just to jump in there as well, I was genuinely happy somebody asked that, because I mean, I've said to you before, I'd love at some point for us to chop it up just about hardcore generally, because you grew up in and saw so many things in that scene that I've only ever read about and kind of mythologized about in my own mind. So that was an interesting question when it came through, and I am genuinely very curious to hear what you say.
Like, the fast answer is Sick of It All, as like the biggest, and like most important in a way, that hearing that 7-inch first, that first EP they put out on Revelation Records, I was just fucking hooked, and that remains one of my favorite records. I remember I photocopied the cover and hung a photocopy of the cover up in my bedroom, like, and honestly, like a very close second would be Youth of Today, actually. Same thing. Like I had pictures of these people on my wall. I had pictures of like them in my locker in high school, in freshman and sophomore year, like, and I just see like someone like Ray Cappo today as this guy that I stop in my tracks to listen to every time he puts something up on Instagram or Facebook, because there's something about him that exudes goodness and positivity. Yeah, those are like the two biggest. And if someone wants a third biggest, wow. The first the first Sheer Terror album, Just Can't Hate Enough. Oh my God, that just like, whoo! It's a record that has stayed with me forever, and just the sound of it, the mixing of like the Celtic Frost with the New York hardcore. I don't know, it's something about that record just gets me going. And if we want to Rushmore it, Killing Time, Raw Deal. They were called Raw Deal first. They put out a demo in 1988. That is one of the greatest demos ever. And seeing them live to this day just fucking does it for me. I mean, I could go on and on, kids, but those are 4 amazing ones.
No, I'm a very big fan of Sick of It All. And in terms of like my enjoyment of hardcore, a lot of it stems from Set It Off. Set It Off was like the first hardcore album I ever bought for myself. That was a big turning point for me. And we spoke about that the last time you were on when we were listening to Madball. That album really, really turned me on to so many things, because it was like as soon as I got into that, you start reading up about Freddie Madball, and then he at some point dipped his toe in thousands of different bands. So you start digging into all of those bands. Youth of Today I only really discovered later on. But I mean, I still listen to Break Down the Walls on a pretty regular basis. That's a great gym album.
It's a funny story, Youth Today, that was told to me by the guy that had this conversation with Ray Cappo. Apparently, when Youth Today came onto the scene in the mid-'80s and moved to New York and started playing shows and getting a buzz and building a name, there was a guy in the scene that said to Ray Cappo, "There'll never be a straight edge scene in New York City." And Youth of Today completely changed that. I mean, so many bands formed in their wake. Gorilla Biscuits, Bold, Judge. Like, there are people that drew inspiration from them. Like, so many bands and so many people, and they completely changed the scene in New York. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, to answer AV Overkill's question that he directed at me, I don't think this is going to come as a surprise. Akrakaka related album, Volume 3, Satan in His Original Glory by the Antichrist Imperium. If Corazon had never been recorded and I had to pick one record to listen to for the rest of my life, that would be it. It combines every single thing I love about extreme music: atmosphere, brutality, badassness. I love the experimental nature of the record. I think every single guy in the Antichrist Imperium is just a fantastic human being. I consider everyone in the band to be a friend, and I just think the band is phenomenal. They made 3 records that are, in my view, the 3 of the strongest albums that any band has released back to back.
Awesome. I love the way you say the name of that band. I don't know why. I get a very big kick out of you and your accent. With you say the name with such enthusiasm, because you love those guys. I don't know. It's a funny thing.
Oh, dude, funny you mentioned the accent. There is this fucking septic tank of a website called Metal Warfare that has a forum where there's been a bit of hate directed at my accent. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Well, here's the thing. I first heard of that band. I didn't even know how to say the name of that band, honestly, and you're going to kill me for this. It is one of the worst names of a band ever, in my opinion. I think it's a terrible band name.
How fucking dare you.
My girlfriend and I last night were talking about your accent, and with complete love. because
I
she
hope
has an
so.
accent. She's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So, and just like your love and enthusiasm for Akkerkaka, I can't even say the name of the band. I just love it, and I know some listeners love it, and they know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's all I'm going to say. And if anyone's hating on it, how dare you? How dare
Exactly. You? All right, let's move on to some more music. Archgoat have announced a new album release. I mean, this. As soon as this came out, I'm not even going to pretend that this is the first time I'm hearing it. I jumped on this track straight away. September 11th, 2026, we'll see the release of the Archgoat's newly announced studio album dubbed Nightbringer, Lightbringer. Alongside disclosed details, you can also give a spin to the first single title track. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Man, that was great.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's how you do it, as they say. Archgoat, like say Cannibal Corpse, you know what you're gonna get. They do not disappoint. They know who their fans are. They don't fuck around. You won't be getting a sellout record ever from Archgoat. I think this sounds fucking great. It's catchy in a weird way, even though it
is very catchy.
Like, right?
I totally agree. I think that's the most catchy track they have ever released.
It's good. I look forward to the rest. You know, they played Brooklyn a bunch of years, like not even that, 7 years ago, pre-COVID, and I fucking missed the show, and it was not even super far away. I can't even remember why I missed the show. But they have not been back here since. I really hope they get to America again. So many bands I love are just not coming here. But it would be so great to see them play here again. They would fucking pack the shit out of a New York City date and probably any, major city in America. We'll be pre-ordering this. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think literally from about the 30th second, I immediately put this on my contenders list for 2026. I was like, this will be in the top 30 of 2026. There is no doubt about it. I thought
like, I don't know. It's just, you hear it and you're like, yep, this is good.
Yeah, it's raw. It's, as you say, it's catchy. It's fucking aggressive. I mean, they're never going to try and pull a Guerilla or a Behemoth or, there'll never be any of that. I mean, my previous favorite records by Archgoat, for anybody who doesn't know the band and wants to get into them, and funnily enough, there are a few folks that fall into that camp. I would strongly recommend you dig up The Light Devouring Darkness. That came out in 2009. Fucking brilliant. And then the album they put out in 2021, Worship the Eternal Darkness, that's fantastic too. I would say, based on this single, I feel like Lightbringer could stand shoulder to shoulder with those records.
Yeah. Hopefully they release some more of the tracks soon. Yeah, this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, we got a question from Metal Sheck. He says, a genre that you don't speak of much. What are your favorite war metal bands or albums?
Well, look, if we're putting Blasphemy as a war metal band, then I guess it's Blasphemy.
Which I have to do because Blasphemy is my favorite war metal.
The thing is, but I don't. Here's the thing: war metal doesn't happen without them, and I feel like some people may nitpick and just call them a black metal band, but no, they're kind of like the Black Sabbath of war metal, really. Yeah. But I like Revenge, who again makes the same record every record. They make the same record, but it's you're either on board or you're not. I like Black Witchery; they're fucking great. Again, also obviously a black metal band, but they're in that wheelhouse. They're 100% in that wheelhouse. And who else? Like the Conqueror Soul album is fucking awesome, and then there's like other bands that I've heard here and there that I think are great that the names are escaping me, but I feel like with war metal, it's very singular, and it's, I'll give props to Caveman Cult. Caveman Cult are fucking really cool. My buddy Ed is in the band now. What's up, Ed? It's a love it or hate it genre. And, I think everyone should at least check out, the Forefathers. Yeah,
I'd strongly agree with that. One name you left out of your list that I'm very surprised by, Diocletian.
I did. And I actually like them a lot. It's weird. I love them. However, their greatest record is their outlier record, Gisundrian.
Yeah, which I agree with you on that. That's actually what introduced me to them. I remember you're in Cleave.
That ever did.
Yeah, I remember you're in Cleaved Asunder of Gisundrian.
Now, what makes that record so good, though, is that it's not just a war metal record. It brings in some other shit. And man, I got to see them live when that record came out at Maryland Death Fest, when they actually played Maryland Death Fest in 2014. One of the greatest Maryland Death Fest lineups ever. And they were so fucking good, man. But that lineup imploded completely after that album and after that run, where there's just the sole member of the band who has been the one guy on every single album whose name's escaping me. But I feel like the fact that the three other participants of Gisundrian not being in the band anymore perhaps have had an influence on that band. Anybody out there can check me if I'm wrong, but I'm waiting for my Gisundrian part 2. Then that's never happening apparently. So yeah.
The gentleman you were thinking about is Brendan Southwell.
Okay, he's the one main guy. Yes.
Yeah. But Gisundrian is what introduced me to the band. It was actually here in Cleaved Asunder on, I can't remember whether it was an episode of Everything Went Black or Necromaniacs. But I know It was Mike who introduced me to the band.
Yeah, me and Mike love that record. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely superb. I mean, favorite records, definitely Gisundrian, Fallen Angel of Doom by Blasphemy. That is an essential. And then I really like Antichrist Siege Machine. I've had Antichrist Siege Machine on the podcast. I think all their albums are excellent.
Saw them the other week actually with Negative Plane and Wrath Prayer. 3 fucking fantastic bands. They are great, and it's reminding me that I need to get them into the collection.
Most definitely. All right. More music. We've got Speedslut out of Denmark. It says here, as part of their oncoming studio release, Cumbrian Rights, Denmark's Speedslut offer in listening another new song in preview called Pest-Ridden Stallions. Fucking hell. I was just about to hit stop and then that breakdown kicked in. I was like, God damn it. That is fucking cool.
Where are they from? Oh,
Denmark.
Yeah. Very, very good. Kind of, I mean, it's, thrash, speed metal, a little bit of black metal. I like it a lot. Very, very instantly, like, you walk into a club and this band is playing, you're going to watch them. Yeah, I like the name. I'm on board. I like it.
It looks like a bunch of young bucks as well. They brought out a demo or an EP, I should say, in 2025 called Ferocity of Steel, which is a great name for an EP. And then they bring out their debut album now. They kind of dabble in that same space as Daiva, Destroyer 666, Lord Humongous, Witch's Hammer, who we listened to last week.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking excellent. I mean,
Lord Humongous, they played last night in New York, and I didn't even fucking know about it until my friend sent me the YouTube clip this morning, and I went, would have been nice if I knew this show was even happening. Apparently, they played some small space. It was 1,000 degrees, and I'm like, well, maybe okay. Maybe I'm okay with missing that. But I like them a lot, and I would have liked to have seen them.
Yeah, that Raped by the Nukes album that they released in 2023 is fucking brilliant. And I've also heard reliable rumors of Daiva working on a sequel to Through Sheer Will and Black Magic, which I'm very excited about as well. But yeah, these guys are fucking excellent. I can see them very comfortably sharing a stage with Destroyer 666, even with Hellripper, and going over exceptionally well.
And they remind me of the band that I've mentioned several times on the podcast, the Osmos Records Gehenna, who put out Utter Hell, Inferno. I'm sorry, Inferno. Poser check. The Osmos Records Inferno, who put out the amazing Utter Hell record, which is so fucking cool. It sounds a lot like this.
Yeah, the Deborah Morty Inferno. I'm starting to get a bit of a read on your taste in music. and I don't think that the Devourment Morty Inferno is necessarily going to be up your street.
Yeah, like I don't know, like a lot of the stuff out there I call like, I mean, it's like sleeping bag metal. Like I don't like, I hear it and I'm just like, I just can't. Yeah, it's a wrap. Yeah, like I can't get into it. You know, like some of these quote unquote black metal bands that just like sound like, I don't know, very boring, barely black metal. I don't know. I can't get into it.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a question for you from Crotitus666. He says, I get the vibe from the sheriff that he's a big fan of Dismember and that era of Swedish death metal.
Oh, yeah.
As I am too. There are many new and not so new bands who try to keep up who try to keep the spirit up. But most don't have something interesting to show. I tend to get bored by many of them. The question is, who among them deserves a better audition? Who is worth listening to? I find Lick mostly have to say something interesting musically. I have a hunch who you're about to say, but...
Well, here's the thing. Look, I am such a Dismembered stan that, like, when they played Brooklyn for the first time in a very long time, like I was at their New York show prior to that, which was in 2007, I want to say, or 8, like ages. They hadn't played New York in ages. And of course, in 93, my old band Confusion opened for them at Lemoore, which was amazing. I brought every piece of vinyl and every CD I had with me to get signed, and they signed everything. So that's how much of a Dismember fan I am. Fred Esteby is a friend of mine. And he's the coolest guy ever. He lives in America now, which I also believe Rich, the bass player, lives in like Texas or something. But anyway, they're one of my all-time favorites. In a way, I don't fuck with too many bands that sound like them because they're them to me, and I just want them. But this is a semi-controversial one. I don't think Gatecreeper suck. I think they're fucking... Some of their shit is really good, actually, Gatecreeper. I've kind of not paid attention to the new one, though. Or maybe the last two. But they have some of that vibe, you know? And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
But again, like I don't dive deep into the Dismember Entombed ripoffs in 2026, per se. Not really. But there's a band... Hold on, in the collection that I fucked with, and they put a record out last year, and I better be able to find it. Hold on. Impurity, who give off the some of those vibes that really good on Hammerheart. Did you check this record out from last year?
I did not, no.
It's good. Good death metal, The Eternal Sleep, Impurity. But yeah, in a weird way, they satisfy a thing where I don't need any ripoffs. Like, I don't love Misfits ripoffs. I don't like that whole world, you know? Although I would like to fuck with some more Danzig influenced bands, and I feel like there's like none of that out there for some reason. But
oh, dude, have you heard Morgan from Marduk's Danzig inspired band?
Danzig inspired band?
Yeah.
What band is that?
They were called Deathwolf, I believe.
No,
let me just double check that. Oh my God, I can't believe you don't know it.
I heard the Misfits one. Wait, isn't that Devil's Whorehouse? But that's kind of
it used to be called Devil's Whorehouse, and then they changed their name to Deathwolf.
No, I have heard. No, that's good. I need to kind of fuck with that again. I heard that a million years ago.
I would definitely say when they changed to Deathwolf from Devil's Whorehouse, they got a little edgier and a little heavier, which isn't a bad thing. But they have 4 albums out now. The last one came out in 2019. I just wanted to double check that before I waxed all lyrical about them. But yeah, Deathwolf, 1000% a band.
I need to fuck with that shit again. It's been I remember hearing the Devil's Whorehouse stuff way back in the day, and I never went back to it. But if they have that many like releases out, then yeah, I'll fuck with it as a Marduk lover. But what about you? I mean, I know you're a big Dismember fan, What's your
Yes,
answer?
I am. Well, I would definitely say I agree with you on Gatecreeper. I think that they get more hate than is due them. I've heard a couple of Gatecreeper songs where, I mean, I had written them off because of the fact that they sound so similar to Dismember. And then I heard a few songs subsequent to that, including the tracks I listened to on the Weekly News Rant, where I was like, fucking hell, this is surprisingly very good.
Yeah.
I think that Fuming Mouth is a great band. I've had all of Fuming Mouth on the podcast. I think they're good. I mean, they probably have a little bit more crust and hardcore in them than the average Dismember tribute act. Creeping Death has had a few reasonably enjoyable songs, and then outside of that, Black Breath is a band that I think is
Black Breath. Yes, I mean. Totally. It's funny. Like in one of my fantasy heads, I would make an album that just completely ripped off Indecent and Obscene, which is my favorite Dismember record. Like it would be a tribute to Indecent and Obscene only. Like it would, like I would probably take riffs from that and make new riffs out of them and just, I don't know. I'm like obsessed with that album.
It is absolutely fucking brilliant. Is that perhaps the project that you've been you've been teasing, you've been mulling over?
Well, it's oddly enough, it's not, but some of that would bleed into the new project. Some of that maybe sonically and mood wise, you know. But yeah, I mean, there's just something about that record, like in the tone and just the fact that there's no fucking skip songs and these riffs just appear out of nowhere and these like breakdowns. It's just, that record is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is superb. All right, so we move from one style of death metal to another. Are you a fan of Devourment?
I am. I was late to the party with Devourment. I literally, this is surprising, I only got into them maybe 5 years ago. How about that? But I like them a lot.
All right. Well, they have dropped a surprise EP on us over the weekend. It says here, Texas-based brutal death metalers Devourment have surprised us today with the release of a brand new EP, Pious Impiety. The latter, which can be streamed in its entirety via Bandcamp widget below, was produced, mixed, and engineered and mastered by Daniel Schmuck. We're going to listen to a song called Advanced Stage Decomposition. You and your lady are planning a romantic evening in. I think that's the song to soundtrack it to.
Oh, yeah. She's not the biggest fan of this style of metal, but I will say I am. Okay. Yeah. While I literally heard of Devourment for over 2 decades, they just had completely eluded me till I finally fucked with them about 5 or so years ago. And I'm quite the fan, although I've never seen them live. They haven't been to New York in quite a minute. Okay, I'm going to say something. Broken Hope, right, I feel like this is on some like Broken Hope Bowels of Repugnance shit times 10, and that's part of why I love it. And I feel like Broken Hope like crawled so this band could walk. in a way.
Mm.
Like this reminds me of what like was happening a very long time ago, but kind of dipped a little, and now is like this one of the biggest subgenres in death metal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this heavy, brutal stuff that just when you hear it, it's just like, yep, I fucking love this. And I don't know, some people might be, throwing something at the screen right now saying they don't sound anything like Broken Hope, but they do. And to me, they do, old Broken Hope.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And actually, my first thought was when I heard this is I would rather listen to Broken Hope. I mean, I do like it very much. Let's not detract from the song. I do think the song is excellent, and actually the whole EP I think is really good. It's very enjoyable. I don't know if I could take more than 3 songs of that, because I think the thing with Broken Hope, if you go back to the Bells of Repugnance or Repulsive Conception, Loathing, I mean even Grotesque Blessings, and then especially the last 2, I mean I love both of those records too. There is a lot of creativity and a lot of interesting things that Jeremy does with those riffs. And again, I'm maybe slightly biased here because the podcast is not called Into the Necrosphere by accident. Yep. I'm friends with Jeremy. I got Jeremy's blessing to call the podcast Into the Necrosphere. So I'm a fucking huge fan of the band. But like if I think of even, let's take 2 songs side by side. I think of the song Swamped in Gore and the song we just heard. I enjoy both, but gun to my head, which would I rather listen to? Swamped in Gore, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, they are the early progenitors, I think, of what this is. But I feel like so many youngins don't give a rat's ass about Broken Hope.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that kind of sucks. Just like a lot of young hardcore people don't give a rat's ass about Agnostic Front. And that also sucks. You know what I'm saying? Early Broken Hope is ripe for fucking reviewing if you're a younger person listening right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Something I'd also say is if you have slept on Broken Hope, they don't really play live very much anymore. If you ever get the chance to see them play, don't miss it. I saw them twice after Mutilated and Assimilated came out. Once they opened for Cattle Decapitation, and as much as I enjoy them, they mopped the floor with that band. And then the second time they played at a complete crummy fucking piss ant little dive called the New Cross Inn in London. Headline show, they were fucking phenomenal. Even though it's one of the worst venues I've ever been in my entire life, it was also one of the most badass, just full bore, aggressive, tough as nails, man's death metal show I've ever seen.
Me and Mike Hill saw them, I believe, headline St. Vitus, and they were fucking great. This was a while ago. This was 10 years ago. And they were fucking awesome. I think it was around the time of the last album they put out, which was a long time ago. But as far as Devourment, I like them. I like that track.
Yeah, me too.
And it gets a thumbs up from the sheriff.
Yeah, gets a thumbs up from me as well. You mentioned hardcore. I've got a question for you that is hardcore related from Grind Your Mind 77. I'm curious about the sheriff's take on modern hardcore and how he feels about the arm-swinging line dancing that takes place at gigs. It's like synchronized warm-ups for bowling. The pit is gone and it's replaced by kung fu wanker-size hybrid.
Okay, modern hardcore. Not every band is terrible. I mean, I think a lot of them are terrible. To me, the greatest modern hardcore band is Terror. I've said that once. I'll say it again. And there's a small part of me, and that's where hardcore stops in a weird way. But although it didn't stop at all. But as far as the kung fu karate in the pit, I'm going to blow some minds. What if I told you that was beginning to happen in 1989? What if I told you that? What if I told you that in 1989 and 90, there was that was literally happening in the pit at CBGB's and at the Ritz, and the dancing had changed a bit, going as far back as then. Now, what wasn't happening back then was crowd killing. That's more of that is a modern invention. but the kung fu, karate, ninja type stuff is way older than you're aware. And I don't know. I just felt like back then it was just more of an expression of dance, if you will. And I mean, some people were actually very good at it back then. And there was like a way to do it where it kind of looked cool in a way. I don't know. But it is older than people think. Circle pits in New York City kind of were not a big deal in the proper hardcore scene. That was a thrash metal thing that it came from the hardcore punk scene in California, but was way more of a thrash metal thing in New York City. Like, there were no circle pits at CBGB's. CBGB's was like skanking and kicked it. It was different. The pit was different at CB's. It was not circle pits at the matinees in 1988, 1989, 90. That's not what people were doing. What people were doing was the earlier versions of what some people kind of hate now, believe it or not. But people weren't as douchebaggy and deliberate maybe back then, although the people were very tough and scary back then too. I don't know. A little bit of both. But what do I think of it? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It is an expression of aggression and whatever. But again, sometimes it's cool. If you're a respectful person in the pit, that's great. But if you're a fucking asshole, then everybody hates you. So, yeah.
So on that topic, you must surely be aware by now. As a matter of fact, I know you are aware because I saw you posting about it on Facebook. You must be aware of the End It controversy.
Banana Gate. We're going to call it Banana Gate 2026.
There we go. Hardcore band played a show in Toronto. And I'll very quickly play the 1 minute 38-second clip here of what happened on stage when a guy wore a banana costume and got confronted by the End It frontman.
We're just going to address it. You want to do it now, or you want to do this now or later?
Banana guy.
Banana man, come to the front.
What's going on, man?
Fuck you doing, my nigga? No.
You look really old to be a banana.
You don't get rewarded for doing that shit.
No. Not good.
He wanted the attention, and now he has it.
Now everyone here has to kill you.
Now, if you strip the banana, you get this lovely set list. I'm just saying, he was asking for attention. Now you got it. Pack it in. I know, I still got to set it, but my fault. Fuck the IDF, free Palestine, fuck Israel, and fuck the police. Song's called 21. That man was innocent. What you claim that innocent? You can go like that with no violence, brutality, corruption, with no consequence.
I'll actually pause there because if people are listening to this, they're not going to. Yeah, you get the gist. Basically, Banana Guy was put upon by the audience after these instructions, and by the end of the track, he was no longer wearing very much of that banana outfit. I want to ask you one question before you give me your take on this.
Mm-hmm.
If in 1986 somebody turned up to an Agnostic Front show wearing a banana costume, how would that have gone?
86, not well. I mean, that predates me by 2 years, and in 88 things were pretty savage to a degree. But in 86, from what I understand, we're even more savage. So, no, not great. No, if he went into the pit, probably not great at all or up front. If he stayed in the back of the club, I'm sure he would have been fine. So there's the answer to that question.
So next question, as a seasoned veteran of the hardcore game, what do you make of this exchange and of this incident?
So much to say. All right. First thing is, I don't think any band of any genre should ever call upon the crowd to attack another person in the audience. I mean, if you want your band to have a career, that is. I don't think that's good advice, honestly. Especially if you're a band that's in the hardcore or punk world about, inclusion and diversity and all that, and having a good time, and whatever, and being yourself. And I think that was bad. That was bad. Okay.
There's definitely an element there whereby if I were advising the frontman from Ended as a friend, or if I were if I were advising him on a professional level, I would say, do not say something like that, because you don't know what pre-existing conditions this guy has. He could have some sort of illness. He could be epileptic. Something could happen whereby somebody throws a punch at him errantly, and now you are going to be held accountable for that, either financially, legally, or both. And then the other thing is, you also don't know whether the guy's a fucking nutcase. He might be packing heat outside the venue, and now that you fucked with him in his banana outfit, he's going back to go and fetch his 9 mil, and he's going to extract revenge.
Another weird tangent is, people are litigious these days, sadly. Just because you listen to hardcore music and whatever doesn't mean that you can't be one of those motherfucking people. But the word about this guy is that he's a friendly guy in the scene in Toronto or whatever, in Canada, and everybody kind of knows who he is, and he wears costumes at every show, pays to get in, and is a fan of this music. That actually makes me feel kind of worse about it in a way, because apparently he was a fan of End It. Here's the thing. Is it douchey? Yes. Okay. Is it attention seeking? Yeah. But all they had to do was maybe make fun of him a little from the stage, and that could have been it, right? If they really didn't like it, make fun of him, throw some jokes, or say nothing at all. To call upon the crowd to literally kind of jump him and rip his clothing off of him, even though he was clothed underneath, bad idea. And a lot of what I'm seeing, the heat is not good out there for them. Although there's a good contingent of their actual fans that are completely on their side. Decent numbers of that. Way bigger numbers of people not happy at all, I feel like, about this. And people who are disappointed as fans of End It. Oddly enough, there has been zero statement from the band. It was they had like 1 day left of this tour. It was a tour with Terror, U.S. run that had actually come to New York too. They haven't said a word. There are probably reasons for that, but in a way, like, this story could have went away if they said something the next day where, like, if they kind of made like a lighthearted statement about it, maybe, or invited the guy to another show, or, what I'm saying? Like, they could have handled this a lot more differently, and maybe they're going to. But as of right now, and it's been a good near week, they haven't said a word. What do you think about that?
Well, I totally agree with you. But there was an opportunity for them to salvage a very bad situation that they created for themselves. And I, in principle, completely agree with you. I don't think that anybody at a show should be made to feel in any way physically endangered. And actually,
this isn't 1986. It's not 1996 either. Like, that world, I feel like the world of I can't go to shows, I'm afraid to go to shows, I think that world is over, even in hardcore.
Yeah. Now, that being said, actually, there is a counterpoint as well that I think it's at least worth positing, right? Not even though I don't necessarily agree with it. And it's based around the principle of there is a distinction between life as you want it to be and life as it is. And if you were genuinely concerned about attracting the wrong kind of attention, or if you were at least to some degree, if you're not in the business of calling attention to yourself that could ruin your night, then you should not be wearing a banana outfit or banana costume at a hardcore show. I remember one thing that always stick with me is live at Budokan, SOD, Billy Milano, having fucking tuned up a couple of guys, as that you see on the video, and he warns the crowd. He says, if you come up here, you're going to pay the price.
Nice.
There is something about the DNA of this scene that does lend itself to displays of violence, whether we agree with it or whether we don't.
Right.
And I do think it's naive to think that you can go to shows and that at some point something isn't going to happen. As much as I totally agree with you, it was stupid. And if I were again advising the band, I would say, reach out to this guy, invite him to a show, have him backstage, show him the time of his life, and smooth this over. Because, I mean, you also make a really good point there. He's a fan of the band. Imagine how shit that must feel if, a band that you really like and that you admire, are the result of you getting beaten up.
Yeah, like, look, I understand hardcore is hard. It is hard music. It is aggressive music. And it's not for everybody. But this band is not a tough guy band. Like, they're a band that is, they're not like a beatdown band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like for them to kind of take that stance is just, I don't know, not good for their career. But again, I could be wrong. This could blow over, but I feel like the saying nothing for now. I mean, again, there might be a reason for it. They might have someone telling them to say nothing for all I know. I don't fucking know. Right. I don't know. I don't think they should lose their fucking career for this, though. I'll say that. This is not the end of the world, in my opinion. This is not, like a complete, like, utter disaster. It sucks. It's bad PR for right now, but things do go away. And again, if they want to fix this, they can fix this. But I don't know, man. It's just strange. Everything is just kind of speculation right now, right?
I think you mentioned terror earlier. My suspicion is that Scott Vogel would have handled this a lot differently.
Yeah.
Had he been on stage, I think he might have poked a little bit of fun, and that would have been the end of it.
And that would have been it. Yeah, like this could have went another way. And again, I don't know. This is not look like black metal, right? Marduk doesn't want you on the stage. We all know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Morgan beating a guy's ass on stage. The black metal fans are going to be like, yeah, for that. Marduk are not a fun hardcore band. It's just, it's different worlds, Again, it remains to be seen about Banana Gate, but it is literally one of the biggest things of the past, like, I don't know, year, I feel like, in hardcore, which is mind-blowing. Yeah.
No, it's huge. All right, let's pivot back to some black metal. Faustian have put out a lyric video for their new single, I Curse You. Anybody who doesn't know who Faustian is isn't paying attention to this podcast. It features members of the Antichrist Imperium, the Berserker, Werewolves, Psychroptic, and a Bremelin. It is basically Werewolves playing black metal. Proof that Matt never runs out of ideas. I've had this album for, I think, nearly a year now, so I know it very, very well. Let me give you a little taste. Shout out, by the way, to Jack McGuire, who did the lyric video for that. It is excellent. He also did the lyric videos for Weird Stuff and Gravier, who I featured on last week's podcast. And I callously forgot to call him out. I have to say, great work. I know he doesn't necessarily advertise that he does it, but I think if you're after a decent lyric video, Jack McGuire is your man.
How many records do Faustian have?
They've got an EP and then they've got this one. So this album is, well, actually, sorry. I think the previous record, I think it's billed on Metal Archives as an EP, and then but I think they consider it their debut record. So this new one is going to be their second album, and it's called Parable of the Sewer.
Very, very cool. This is like half of Werewolves or all of Werewolves?
All of Werewolves.
Oh wow, very cool.
It is Werewolves, just making a different style of music.
Cool lyric video. Kudos to not shooting a video in a basement with some crap hanging up in the background like some of the other bands. You know, we see
smiling at the camera, putting faces.
Please, no, stop doing that. They've done a very good job here with their video. Yeah, this is really, really good. It's funny. I am one behind in owning all of my Werewolf CDs. I just don't have the most recent one. I would like to definitely perhaps purchase this. I dig it, man.
Well, I'm sure you will be able to get it from Apocalyptic Witchcraft. They're actually putting out a limited edition splatter vinyl on July the 24th. So awesome. If you want, I'll ask Connor to keep one aside for you.
Yeah, no, dude, this is really good. This is quality shit. I have a nice Werewolves shirt that I got from, I think, Indie Merch. I've got almost all their CDs, all the digipacks. Yeah, this is fucking hard as shit. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's fucking awesome. Not to give anything away, but I may have gotten a little taste of the next Werewolves record. All I said to Matt was,
unbelievable.
I don't know how the fuck you do it. I really don't.
Yeah, you know, I want an ounce of that creativity.
Yeah, it's fucking inhuman. It's genuinely.
It is. It's human is what it is. That's
it would take me a fucking decade to come up with 2 songs that come anywhere close to like being considered for the B-side, the unreleased tracks of a Werewolves record.
Yeah, I mean, really good band. You know, more Americans should definitely fucking fuck with them and check them out.
Yeah,
spread the word.
Now, one band I know that you love and that you've strongly endorsed on the podcast, we've got a question directed at you. Mystic Yaucha asks, I'd like to know the sheriff's thoughts on the new Ride for Revenge record.
It's very interesting. Someone asked that. I literally 2 nights ago pre-ordered the new LP, Angels Fly Low from Nuclear War Now. They have a red vinyl option and a black vinyl. I, of course, got the red vinyl. And they have a killer new T-shirt with the album cover design. And I picked that up because I already have a Wisdom of the Few shirt. The thing is, I've only heard that, was it the one single is almost like very like old, weird, like Godfleshy kind of like, it's kind of different actually from some of their other stuff. I have not fucked with the entire record yet. On purpose. Like a lot of times, like I kind of wait with new records to really kind of sit down with them, but I don't know if the whole record goes in this more experimental direction or if that particular track does, but I am extremely excited to hear the whole thing. As a matter of fact, Harold Mentor from Ride for Revenge, I think was talking about some issues they were having with some of the tracks on YouTube. So he like individually put every track on his Facebook page. Yeah, I need to hear the whole thing. Have you heard more of it?
Yeah, so I think there was I know there was a stream of it on YouTube yesterday when the album was officially released.
Right. Okay.
And at your recommendation, I went and listened to it. I've only listened to about half the record, but I can tell you now the 2 opening tracks, Saddle the Hellstorm and As the Mountain Shakes Again, are hard as fucking nails.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it is the Scandinavian Profanatica, and I mean that in the best possible way. It's got the darkness of Profanatica, but it has that kind of Scandinavian twist to it. It's Yeah, it's fucking excellent. I mean, Ride for Revenge and Archgoat. That's too cult. Too cult for the average man or woman.
They need to get their asses to New York. They played New York once. They played St. Vitus. It's one of my famously missed shows. They're playing Canada, though, later this year. I don't know, man. There's some good shit happening in Canada that I may have to get on a fucking plane for. Because Blasphemy is doing this huge show with Revenge and Witch's Hammer. I forget November 13th, I think it is. So that's something I wish I could fucking go to. Who knows, But yeah, I'm excited to hear the whole thing. I have not fucked with the whole thing yet, which will be fixed by the next time I am on the show, obviously.
All right. Well, I want to do one more track and then it's Swirly time. We've got a new single out by Hulder. And Hulder is a band I'm very fond of.
Me too.
Announced they had signed with 20 Buck Spin and Season of Mist. Their new album is out on August the 7th. It's called Verbolgen. And the new single is entitled View from Nemeton. All right, I'm going to pause there. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking about female extreme vocalists, and I spoke a lot about Brenda Cordick from Johnny the Boy and expressed that that I really loved her vocals, specifically because she sounds like a woman doing extreme metal vocals, not a woman trying to sound like a man, which is where I think a lot of women in the scene go wrong, and I think it's to their detriment. I had completely forgotten, and I really should have remembered, but I had completely forgotten to praise or to throw praise in the direction of Hulder herself, aka Marlise Osborne. I mean, she is fucking phenomenal. I have loved this band since I first heard them, and this song is no different. It is absolutely brilliant.
This is fucking great. I have all their CDs. I wish that was the vinyl collection I had instead of the CDs, but maybe I'll fix that because that's who I am. I'm definitely getting this record. This song is fucking awesome. And I'm sure you've noticed this. No more makeup on her.
True. Yeah, true.
I'm wondering if that is the new look going forward, and live there'll be no more corpse paint. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a reason
softening of the logo as well.
Yes, I whatever it is, I'm intrigued and I like it. I like change when it comes to certain things. They certainly didn't change their being a good black metal band. I'll tell you that. But to change the
No.
look is cool, and change the logo, okay, noticeable. And I'd love to maybe find out why. Interesting. I kind of like when American black metal bands don't have corpse paint on. How about that? What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't really mind either way. I do think corpse paint was it's a cultural phenomenon that it feels like it fits the 90s better than it does 2026, right? There's still some bands that do it, and I think it looks fucking cool. But I do feel like it has a place that is maybe, its real place, its real spiritual place is 93, 94.
Right. Like, like I don't want to see certain bands without it. Like certain bands I don't want without it.
Yeah.
But if a band takes it off, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I used to have it.
Well, when the logo change was announced, because I think I can't even remember whether that was announced or whether that leaked, but I think there was a fear that Hulder might go the route of so many other proto black metal bands that started off black metal, might have shown a lot of promise, and then fell by the wayside, and that certainly doesn't sound like it has happened yet. The song itself is it's got a real unhinged quality to it, and I love her vocals, man. She's like, as I said earlier, I think the beauty of what she does is that she's not trying to sound like a man. She sounds like a woman expressing herself through extreme style vocals, and that's why her voice works so well.
Yeah, I've seen them live over the years like 3 times, and fucking great. I mean, yeah, they're to me one of the best modern American black metal bands, in my opinion, 100%. It's funny, like they don't get a lot. Like, some people are misogynist or whatever with women in black metal or whatever the fuck. I feel like Hulder doesn't get a fraction of heat because she does not suck. The band does not suck. They make great records. And I feel like she is legit. She doesn't have, she wasn't a Disney actor 12 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's fucking, to me, she's legit. Like, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I think misogyny being thrown the way of women in metal, I think, is so fucking dumb, because there's so many talented women in metal. I mean, conversely, I also find it annoying that I continually have to be told that, we don't want to be called female fronted metal, or I don't want to be referred to as a female vocalist. Why the fuck not? I think it's fucking cool if you bring something different and something unique to the plate. And let's be honest, for a period of time, it was quite unique to get women in metal.
Right, exactly. I mean, look, I see why some women don't like that term, but in a weird way, that term, like yacht rock and hair metal, is it's how people describe it. I don't know. It's not going away. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a term that is there. I don't know.
And look, there is something about intent as well, right? If the intent behind it is to disparage it, then I absolutely get it.
Right.
But when I talk about Johnny the Boy as Belinda Cordick being a woman, female fronted black metal band, or Hulder, female fronted black metal band, I mean that incredibly positively, because, like I said, they do something very unique and very interesting, and something that I enjoy very much.
Yeah, I mean, again, intent is the word, and it's just, I don't know, for a lot of people it's just a description, and then some people, like, if they say it on the social media, someone will jump on them, and it's just like, hey, just relax, but yeah, they're fucking awesome. I'm a big fan.
All right. Okay, my friend, it is time for us to step up to the Porcelain Bowl of Justice for the Swirly of the Week. So I don't know whether you recall this gentleman. You and I actually happened to talk about him last year when he recorded a very lengthy diatribe during which he spoke about Metal Threat at length and suggested
I
that
remember
the festival itself shouldn't exist, and many of the people at the festival shouldn't exist either. So his name, for those that don't know, is Endless Cemetery. He is apparently now recovered from the trauma of that particular experience of Metal Threat having taken place. And he's now turned his attention to the Maryland Death Fest that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, I see. I didn't even know about it. This is brand new to me. So this beef is brand new.
Well, I mean, the premise is quite familiar. He has posted 3 videos on his channel. And in those 3 videos, he argues that MDF has become a safe haven for white nationalism and neo-Nazism. And he also suggests that if you disagree with him, that makes you a Nazi too.
Oh, well, that's, of course. I mean, you know, I haven't heard his beef, so I can't say anything yet.
I will spare you the agony of sitting through those videos, but I'll give you just a quick summary of the basic argument. So essentially, according to him, the global metal scene is a staging ground for the advancement of white supremacy. Promoters, security staff, festival organizers, and basically any other scene participants are actively encouraging or passively enabling it. T-shirts from bands like Archgoat and Grand Belial's Key are, in his mind, the equivalent of clan robes, and their mere presence creates an atmosphere where Endless Cemetery feels like something is going to, quote-unquote, happen. Along the way, he also informs us that Maryland Death Fest is now some sort of, and he actually calls it an industrial complex, and that organizer Ryan Taylor allegedly received $1 million from his parents to get the festival off the ground. And that's basically the gist of it.
I've never heard that in my life about MDF. I'll just say right out of the gate, I went to MDF once. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful time. There was all sorts of people there, black, white, Asian, male, female, trans. It was, I don't know. I guess I went to a different fest, and every metal show I go to, including the one I went to with Negative Plane, Wrath Prayer, and Antichrist Siege Machine, had everything under the sun at it, and there was no problems at all. So, it's nearly impossible for a fest of that size to police T-shirt wearing, bro. Would you agree?
Yeah. No,
How are you going to police T-shirt wearing when the average security guard does not listen to this fucking music, does not know a damn thing about these bands? Let's be honest, okay? You know, what are you going to do if someone is wearing a sketchy band T-shirt? What are you going to do? You can't police T-shirt wearing. You can't. So that, well,
in many ways, his 3 videos basically come down to that. And I would suggest that the first indication that, you know, these videos are not necessarily a good faith conversation is actually found in his own choice of clothing. If you look at for those watching, Mike, you can see this. If you look at the video, he's wearing a deranged T-shirt while telling us that Archgoat, Grand Belial's Key, also mentions Burzum. Those shirts are the worst of the worst. Now, the same deranged, have in their catalog, and I enjoy deranged music, so I'm not dissing them here. But they have song titles like Ripped, Raped, and Randomized, and many, many songs that focus on sexual violence, mutilation, murder. So here's my question. If an Archgoat shirt is enough to make Endless Cemetery fear for his safety, what about a woman who sees somebody wearing a deranged shirt? Or, what about a Christian walking past somebody wearing a Vital Remains shirt? Is their sense of safety equally valid? Are they entitled to feel threatened as well?
Yes, but the reality is that everyone knows that death metal is fiction, and that horror movies and that kind of crazy violence is part of death metal. There's a difference. Racism is not technically at all a part of any of this. Like, racism sucks. Being a racist sucks. Okay, but it's near impossible to have someone stand at the gates of MDF. I mean, it's twice the size of what it was, I think, since I went there.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You can hate on it, though. You can trash talk it. But to kind of shove the organization under a bus, no. I mean, if you really hate it, you probably shouldn't go.
Well, I'll get to that. I mean, my feeling here, and I completely agree with you. And I would say this: if I watched all 3 videos, there is no point at which he presents evidence of having been harassed, threatened, or intimidated by any of these so-called white nationalists or neo-Nazis or Argo Slent shirt-wearing psychos. If that were the case, then I would absolutely be on his side, and I would say the guys from, or the organizers from MDF need to do better. I don't think that anybody of any stripe, any background, any race should go to a show and be physically attacked because they come from a certain demographic. So I'm 100% with you on that. I think my problem here is he doesn't present any example of any of this happening.
No.
What it instead boils down to is that he's posted 3 videos worth of complaints about T-shirts and complaints about conversations online, complaints about I mean, he even complains in video 3 about Ryan, the organizer, reaching out to him in an apparent attempt to engage in an actual conversation.
Because MDF is not a hate fest. MDF is not about that shit. Look, man, I live in New York City. I go to shows in Queens and Brooklyn. The GBK shirts, majority are worn by not white people. They're Latinos, most of them. And it is what it is. You know, what do we do? Like, these people aren't jumping anybody. They're not attacking anybody. They're metalheads drinking beer and going to metal shows, which is 99% of what MDF is, I would gather. I don't know. Like, if shirts upset you and trigger you, it is what it is. You maybe that, I don't know. I don't want to tell people not to go to places, but it's not up to MDF to police attire unless it's like some crazy fucking blatant, swastika fucking whatever. Obviously they're not letting those people in, but there's just so many people, and what do we do? Like, you know what I'm saying? And especially, like I said, there's just the diversity of people that go to the shows here in New York City is great, and it is really interesting. But I don't know, man. You can't police thought, and it's hard to police attire, although maybe some smaller clubs obviously can police attire, but to shove MDF under the bus that kind of sucks. I mean, it's not their fault.
Well, I think there's a very important distinction here between somebody's right to physical safety and somebody's sense of, or their subjective sense of safety, right? So if like I said, if I ran into Endless Cemetery at a festival and somebody's targeted him because he's African American, I'd happily stand beside him and tell that person to fuck off. But being uncomfortable because somebody's wearing a shirt that you don't, or by a band you don't like, is not the same thing as somebody being threatened. Like you say, like there's a difference between, overt, swastikas, racist slogans and stuff like that, and a fucking T-shirt that's got the Burzum logo on. Metal is a scene that is filled with people who disagree with one another politically, religiously, morally, socially. That's just part and parcel of the scene. And if you've reached a point, which I get the sense he has, where simply existing around people with different views feels intolerable to you, then maybe the problem isn't the festival. You clearly don't enjoy MDF anymore. He actually mentions that he hasn't paid to go to MDF for the last 15 years. I also get the impression he doesn't enjoy the metal scene anymore. So I would suggest that he stop going. He doesn't buy tickets. So it's not like MDF is going to miss his presence, be bereft of his presence. But I think
it's interesting if one of the guys from MDF reached out to him. That means that they're like, they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, but again, I'm sure he has his friends or whatever, his fans, his followers that agree with everything he's saying. That's okay too. But again, I'm in New York, and right now, like, I don't know, like the metal scene is very diverse and very interesting, and people are just having a good time. There's nobody fighting. There's nobody attacking anybody. I don't know. I'm seeing a very different scene. I don't know.
Well, there's also something in the fact that he refused to have a phone call with Ryan Taylor when Ryan reached out to him. Because that to me speaks of somebody that, one is quite conscious of the seriousness of the allegations that he's making, but also, if you're interested in actually resolving a problem, surely the organizer reaching out to you would then be a great opportunity for you to share your grievances and say, hey, I don't like that J-Dog and Hell's Headbangers selling shirts from Argosland, Grand Belial's Key, and whoever else at the festival. Could you please stop? And here's why I don't like it. But the fact that he declined that and actually seemed to take offense to it, to me, that speaks of somebody who's not entering into this in good faith. And if I look at his channel, his videos about MDF have outperformed the vast majority of everything else that he has posted.
Of course they have. I mean, it's for clicks. It's for clicks. I mean, if you're going to trash somebody, if you're going to trash a fest, an organization, and they reach out to you and you refuse to talk to them, that's on you.
100%. Yeah. And so in the absence of all else, because again, as we say, when it comes to hating racism and not wanting any of that in the scene, I mean, I couldn't stand it. I absolutely abhor it. But in the absence of anything more than just being upset about logos of bands that you disagree with or that you think are suspicious, unfortunately, you have earned your second trip to the Porcelain Bowl of Reckoning, and that, my friends, is the Swirly of the Week. Sheriff, it was an absolute blast as always. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, thank you, man.
And we'll do it again soon.
Yes, we will, man. Take care. Cheers, everybody.